Hey everybody, it's Stephen Paul from WinExtra bringing you your daily brief for April 29th, 2011, and we're cranking down to the end of April, and May's just around the corner, and this is the one podcast where you won't hear anything about the royal wedding. Guarantee.
You just broke that guarantee.
We aren't talking about it. You
just said nothing. Just let it go. Alright?
We have more important things to talk about.
British royalty gets married, well, fair dues to them, you know? But,
we're done.
There's more important things.
We have much more important things
than, you know, aristocracy and
like
people famous just because they're born into a family.
Yes. We have the earnings call from Microsoft that came out yesterday. That's important.
It's important if you're interested in Microsoft. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yet again, another record quarter for Microsoft, beating all expectations. 5.7 billion in nothing but sheer, unadulterated profit. You know, once you take away all their operating costs and all that sort of.
And guess who was the first one to come out with the Apple-related meeting story?
Who?
M.G. Siegler.
Oh, he's a fanboy.
Oh, yeah.
He is to Apple what you are to Microsoft.
No. Not by a long shot. I don't get down and
just has a different style of doing it. But
no.
You cannot.
No. Anyway, yeah, they had a record third quarter revenue of $16.43 billion. 13% increase over the same period.
31%.
13% increase.
Okay.
The 31 comes from the net income increase.
Yeah, but it's a 13%. A 13% profit overall. Okay, so what we're seeing is that Xbox, Office, all made major gains, whereas the PC market itself actually slumped, but it still didn't stop Microsoft making a $2.7 billion profit on that.
And it's down 4%.
Not yet. 4%.
Yeah.
But that is enough for analysts everywhere to be saying, ooh, the tablets are taking the wind out of Microsoft's sails.
Yeah.
Ooh, the PC market is dead. No, my arse. Here's what's dead. Netbook sales.
Yes.
You remember netbooks, folks? That fad, those tiny little PCs with screens too small to do anything decent on, keyboards too small to actually type on, and that were halfway between a laptop and what? That served no real purpose, and when they came out, everybody said they were a fad, and we're seeing they are a fad.
Yeah.
Yes, tablets have something to do with this, but what people seem to forget whenever people are saying that tablets cannibalize the PC market is that it is not an either-or market.
No.
People who have tablets tend to have PCs as well. The amount of people who have just a tablet is minimal. It's tiny. I've got more pubic hairs than those people.
There's a show title: More Pubic Hairs Than Netbooks. Or no, tablets.
No, but maybe that's not my best euphemism ever. But yeah, people are using this to say that it's cannibal. You know, and it's bollocks. Yes, netbook shares have gone down. Microsoft themselves have said, look, netbook shares have gone down 40%, but that was to be expected.
Yes.
Because they were a useless machine. And bear in mind, folks, that when netbooks first came out, everybody thought they were the next best thing.
I know.
It's like tablets. I'm not saying the tablets are fad. You know, everybody wants a good tablet, especially if they can crack doing tablets properly, but...
Well, both Microsoft and Nokia have come out and said, we aren't going to do a tablet unless we can do something distinctive.
And they will.
Yes.
They will. You know? But here's another interesting one. For all those people who are out there slamming Microsoft right now because of a 4% drop in Windows operating system revenue, while everything else is through the roof, and, slyly pointing out that Apple has, Apple actually beat them. Apple are supposedly the biggest tech company in the world right now. There'd be something wrong if they didn't. But here's some things to keep in mind, right? Office 2010, fastest selling version of Office in history. Windows 7 remains the fastest selling operating system in history. Kinect for Xbox 360, the fastest selling consumer electronics device in history. Record third quarter results again, I might add. And this is the fourth consecutive quarter of double-digit growth for Microsoft profits. So, answer me this. Why the hell isn't the stock moving, and why are they getting a hard time?
Who knows? This is going to make it interesting for what their year end is going to be like. Like, if they've been setting record profits for the past 3 quarters, what is their year end going to be like? Because they're going to have they'll probably have the Mango version of Windows Phone out. They're probably going to have some Windows 8 tablet.
Well, look, I'm not going to be too worried about Mango by the end of the year, because, quite frankly, nobody's going to have it. Right? This thing is not slated for release till fall, and if the carriers do anything like they've done this time, nobody's going to have it until mid-2012. So
yeah, but here's the thing.
Windows 7 doesn't, or Windows Phone 7, or 7.5 as it will be, doesn't even factor into this.
The thing is, I don't think we can put the entire blame of what's happened with Windows Phone onto the carriers. Some of it's going to have to go on to the OEMs of the handsets. Samsung, they've stopped the Nodo updates for some more Samsungs. I think it's in Australia. The HTC Surround still hasn't been updated. Why? Because
basically what we have to do is we have to come down. They have to come down to this policy where look, at some point they have to turn around and they have to say, look, guys, this is the operating system. This is the handset.
Yeah.
How you distinguish yourself from other handsets is by design and by hardware features.
Yes.
But you start putting all this additional bloatware crap on that you're not maintaining and you're not doing properly. It has to go in the consumer's interest, because at the end of the day, you're talking about spending as much money as you would on a laptop for a phone, but you don't have control over it.
Yeah.
You don't get your updates. There's something really wrong there,
To tie in,
and that's without taking your data plan or anything like that.
Now, to tie into this, I'm just going to jump down a little bit in the stories, because there's a story out of Arctic Startup about more to do with the Nokia-Microsoft partnership. And apparently, Nokia is saying that Nokia will not adopt Windows Phone environment as it is today.
Yeah, that's because we know that the first Nokia phones are coming out on Mango.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. What I'm hoping for is that they come up with a hardware set that is what's what Nokia is known for, but it's drop dead simple to update.
Look, Nokia, at the end of the day, is going to be another manufacturer. They're going to have their own hardware requirements. They're going to do their own set of phones. We already have the hardware requirements for the next generation of Windows phones. There's not a whole lot that they can do. This is the whole point of Microsoft standardizing hardware. The problem is that the carriers dick about with everything, and the OEMs dick about with everything. Because you must remember, right? Here, for example, it's not just the OEMs that put shit on your phone.
Exactly.
It's your carriers too.
Yeah.
For example, if you take my where is it? Oh, it's over there. If you take my Android 2.2 Samsung Galaxy S Vibrant, right? The experience on it since I did when it came out, it was 2.1, okay? And through T-Mobile, but T-Mobile never pushed 2.2 over the air, which you could get it if you hooked it up to Samsung Keys, right? So I put mine onto Samsung Keys. Now, the experience is very, very different from Samsung than it is from T-Mobile.
Now, I know that with TELUS, they have a special part of the App Store where they have TELUS apps.
Yeah.
There's only one, right? But again, it's
how many Canadians are there?
Well, no, it's for their optic TV service, which is mostly out west, but it's a remote control, for the optic service, whatever. Anyway, the point being is that, again, we have carriers putting crap on handset makers making changes to the hand.
Look, at some point, right? At some point, a body like the FCC here in the States has to grow a set of balls, and government has to take a stand and say, look, all this, if this was happening on your laptop, you wouldn't accept it.
No.
Nobody would accept this behavior if it happened on your laptop.
But because it's wireless.
I wrote a post about this months and months ago, right? If handset operators, if your laptop or your ISP operated in the same manner as a cell phone carrier, nobody would accept it. Nobody would take that you could only go where they let you, that you could only use certain laptops with certain ISPs. Nobody would accept it, but because it's a cell phone, people seem to think it's okay. But if you look at the monetary value that you pour into buying it over the time of it, these things are just as expensive, but people don't make that mental connection. But at some point, they're going to have to, and they're going to have to cop on.
ISPs tried that, or the carriers tried that, I should say, with netbooks. Like I know up here in Canada, Bell had a deal where you could get a netbook for free, okay, as long as you got the plan through them. And I think Rogers had the same thing. Yeah,
but that's different. But imagine if you had a plan and you were told, right, as of right now, we do not support your Toshiba laptop.
Yeah.
So you can't use your ISP because it's a Toshiba.
Yeah.
You can put your Dell on there, but not your Toshiba.
Yeah.
And you see this crap coming in too down here.
Yeah.
We have a business class Comcast connection, but when I was on hold with them last week for like hours trying to get problems sorted out, part of the advertisements that were playing were saying, get your residential speed, your residential high-speed broadband and connect up to 5 machines. I should be able to connect as many bloody machines as I want to behind my router. This is bollocks. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Let's go on to one other thing that ISPs don't like, which is streaming media on your home devices, because, it chews through that, because, they're so strapped for bandwidth, my left butt cheek there. If you want to chew up some of your ISP's bandwidth and you have an Xbox 360, how about trying out Hulu on it?
In the States.
Absolutely free for 1 week. I know it's absolutely free because I signed up for it this morning.
Yeah.
No credit card required, nothing. You just your email address and obviously your residential address and your age. And that's it. You sign up at hulu.com/plus/unlock. Then go to your Xbox, download the Hulu application, and just plug in your Hulu email address and password, and you get 1 week of Hulu Plus absolutely free. Now, don't ask me how good it is, because I only signed up like an hour and a half before we got on the air, and all I can think is that a lot of other people must be doing it too, because even with my broadband connection, this was slow this morning. Yeah. I mean, just navigating the menus alone, where the little screen cap icon comes in above the film name, those weren't even loading properly this morning. It was slow. So I can kind of understand then how VentureBeat had a post up saying that, if you are getting Hulu Plus after that week's trial, if you go away and sign up with a credit card, it's going to cost you $7.99 a month. But they were saying that the Kinect support, the Kinect movements is slow. But I actually wonder how much of that is tied to the fact that the page won't move because it's trying to pull in those thumbnails, and eventually, when those thumbnails time out, it does with a default image graphic thingy. You can't talk today. Not enough caffeine. Todson's fault.
But what's not my fault? Linux and Mac OS are the fastest growing operating systems out there now.
I'm gonna have to explain this one. I thought we just commented on the fact that Windows 7 is the fastest selling operating system of all time.
Well, this is a story out of PC.
The history of everness.
Yeah, this is a story out of PC World. And they said, what's particularly interesting was the rapid growth being shown by both Linux and Macs in the server and client system segment,
so we're
respectively.
Not talking desktop environment.
No. Now, to be fair, Mac sales have gone up. The number I saw was 23% in the last year.
So 23% over what they were, which is probably a 2% market share.
Yes. But now, we all know that Linux rocks in the enterprise and on web servers.
It's a wonderful operating system. If all the geeks that write Linux, could get their heads out of their collective arses and realize that the rest of the computing world that actually want to use operating systems don't live in their mother's basements, get out more than once a week, and don't live in a terminal.
Exactly.
Terminal's awesome. Command line is awesome. But 99.9999% of the world will never understand it. And I dare you, I challenge you to even take the latest version of Ubuntu and get everything running on it and set up just the way you want without once having to go into a terminal.
Actually, I'm going to grab the newest Ubuntu and I'm going to run it through a VM this weekend. So I'll let you know Monday.
You won't be able to do it. You won't be able to get it just the way you want it. You won't.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be checking out because it's only fair. Apparently, Microsoft is going to be assisting the Department of Justice in dismantling a botnet. The one.
Yay! More botnets! Yay!
The core flood.
What happened the last time we took down a botnet? What happened to spam levels? Difference?
No, not much.
It was a huge botnet. I can't even remember what the name of it was, but it just made big news. And what happened?
Not much.
The other botnets just picked up the slack.
Yeah. And the last story of the day is Google Calendar is syncing up, or the Google Calendar Sync is upgrading its Outlook 2010 support.
Yeah, now this is something that came out of my blog, actually. And we mentioned this on the show, I don't know, a couple of months ago. I was talking about when I went off on my little experiment to use just Internet Explorer and, Microsoft products for doing my everything, basically. And the one thing I couldn't live without was my Google Calendars, and I couldn't get them synced to Outlook because I had the 64-bit version of Outlook 2010 running in 64-bit Windows 7. And while it is possible to actually sync the calendar so that they come in by syncing it to Windows Live and then syncing Windows Live to your Outlook, you don't get this two-way synchronization whereby if you put something on the calendar in your Outlook, it makes it up to your other calendar, which is the key to it. It's what you need. At the time, Google supported 32-bit syncing through an application, but as of yesterday, they have now, and somebody, Mark informed me of this in the comments on my blog, there is now a new 64-bit version out there. I downloaded it this morning, I installed it, and it works. The syncing does happen. But the problem now that I'm having with it, so I'll keep you appraised of this, is that about every 15 minutes or so, it pops up and it asks me what Outlook profile I want to use. And every time I hit because I've only got one Outlook profile, so every time I just hit the little button to make this one the default, it goes away, but it still comes back 15 minutes later asking the same thing. So the sync does work, but this isn't perfect. So that's going to be very rapidly annoying. So I think
I think so.
Now, there are paid solutions out there, folks, but again,
free.
If Google wants to make inroads
Yes.
into the office space, they need to be providing this kind of stuff. And they obviously are, but this is flawed still at the moment.
And if you have any comments about anything we've talked about today, you can drop us a line at podcast@winextra.com or leave us a comment on any of the places where you find this show. Or you can drop us a voicemail at 251-281-8730. Or you can even text us there. That's what I'm told.
If you're so inclined.
Yes.
Especially if you are one of the people who actually watches this show and happens to own only
A
a
netbook.
tablet or only
A
a
netbook,
net
yeah.
and no other machine.
Yes.
Because really, I don't think you're out there.
No. But on that note, that's Paul. I'm Steve. This has been WinExtra's Daily Brief for April 29th, 2011. Take care, everybody, and have a good weekend.
Have a great one, folks.